You know what really unnerves me, and I suspect that there's a certain level at which I can say this and you can't, but so I'll say it. But I do want, since you're the expert here, you're the author here, and the documentarian, I do want to get your take on this. What troubles me now, and certainly into the future, when the historians look back on this moment at how this drone program just went haywire, and how these drones were killing so many innocent women and children. There were two black men who should have known better who were at the center of that. One was named Barack Obama. The other was named Eric Holder. I like both of them. But one's the president and one's the attorney general. One of them has a bust of Dr. King sitting in his office. And I wonder how often Dr. King whispers to him late at night, "What are you doing?" It just unsettles me and unhouses me that two people who come out of the tradition of nonviolence and social justice, who are making these decisions every day, just don't seem to get it where this drone program is concerned. And I'm not excusing them alone. John Brennan ain't a brother. So they're not doing this all by themselves, but one is the president, the other is the attorney general, and they come out of the black experience, which at its best has taught this nation how to go the other way, how to figure out another option, how to value life. I just don't. I don't have a language for it yet because it just untethers me when I think about it.
I mean, I remember talking to Reverend Jesse Jackson when he secured the Democratic nomination in 2008, and he gave this speech in which he simultaneously said he was going to escalate the war in Afghanistan, and he also was quoting Dr. King. And I said to Reverend Jackson, who was on the floor there that day, isn't there a contradiction in that? It's not that you have to sort of, say, well, we shouldn't talk about Martin Luther King in the same speech as the war, but don't you see the sort of irony of that? Because at the end of his life,
so it's not just irony, Jeremy. It's hypocrisy. Is what it is.
Well, okay, so hypocrisy. Yeah. But Dr. King, at the end of his life, he got a lot of pushback from civil rights organizations initially when he said, "I want to take a stand against the war in Vietnam." And every young person in this country should listen to Martin Luther King's speech coming out against the war in Vietnam, because it wasn't something that it took him years to come to that position. And I think that one of the things that's happening in our society is that there's so much racism and bigotry toward the president right now coming from the right. I think a lot of liberals feel like they're in triage mode. Do I push back against this, or do I try to hold him accountable? But the fact that you have Eric Holder giving a speech defending the killing of American citizens without due process, and you have President Obama expanding these operations, ultimately is going to benefit the political opponents of the president, because they're going to use that and say, your guy was the one expanding all this. Your liberal, Nobel Peace Prize winning president is the one that normalized all of these policies.